Shalom, shalom. Let me make sure I'm live. Let me check my phone and make sure I'm live, and we'll get started. Okay, so shalom, shalom. Before I get started with this lesson, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakach Wadash, giving double honors unto the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well. Shalom unto the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Shalom, shalom. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the men, women, and children, listening and learning from the servants and prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and a hearty shalom to the sincere brethren doing the work in truth and sincerity, spread across the four winds of the earth, giving diligence to make their calling and election sure. Shalom, shalom. So this lesson is going to touch on one body in Yahweh Shai. I've seen a couple of videos that went out with the madness and folly that that one body in Yahweh Shai is teaching. So we'll cover some of it. If I was to do a video on all of it, it'd be like a 4 or 5 or 6 part lesson, 12 hours of going over all their madness. And it was so much madness that, they're spewing. There's so much madness and false doctrine that they're spewing. I actually had to write it all down, literally. So let's start out with a quick precept and, we'll go into it. But literally with so much stuff, I had to write it down, literally so much stuff. We'll start with the red flags. And there's so much stuff I literally had to write it down. So they use the name Christ, the C word, and they have, one body in Yahweh Shai. They have the actual real name in their camp name. Red flag number 1. They do more teaching against the scriptures than teaching the scriptures. Red flag number 2. They're not talking about major end time prophecy like the destruction of Babylon the Great, the mandatory implementation of the MOT to the B. They don't go into America being destroyed. Also, one thing that they're doing as well is they're pushing the law instead of prophecy. And another thing is they're taking away and they're adding to the word. So let's go into the gospel according to one body in Yahweh Shai. Just some of the things I have written down. We'll get that next. Let's get a quick precept. And I'll put this in the screen so y'all can see my screen. And Lord's will, Adon Rathazah, Yahweh Rathazah, you find this lesson edifying. Matter of fact, we'll get a quick precept, but I have a couple videos, but I'll play them from my phone because sometimes when I try to play videos by going on StreamYard, it doesn't have the sound play for some reason. But let's get Romans 16 and 17, and we'll start out there. So while that's pulling up, let's get some of this madness that they're talking about. So the first thing is they say Yahweh Shai didn't do any miracles. We're going to go into some of those miracles that he did. There's multiple accounts of Yahweh Shai doing miracles, over 30 accounts of him doing miracles in the scriptures. The next thing that they say is no chariots. No chariots come to save us. The chariots aren't biblical. No UFOs in the Bible. That's a lie. No spiritual power. What they have is a completely faithless doctrine. A completely faithless doctrine, and you need divine intervention with the situations that are gonna come up on the horizon. This is Romans 16 and 17, and it reads, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them." That word in the Greek is skorpeo. I'll pull it up in the blue letter for anybody who's new. Romans 16 in the blue letter. And I actually had a different topic I wanted to go into, but the Spirit was like, "No, you're gonna go in on this one body situation." So, I just do what the Spirit tells me to do. Adon Rathazah, I get a chance to get around to the Northern Kingdom lesson that I was going to do on Monday before I got the toothache. Adon Rathazah, I'll get that up Monday night, this following Monday. Adon Rathazah. This is Romans 16 and 17 in the KJV, and it reads, "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them," skorpeo. We'll go into the definition next. which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. And they're spewing all sorts of madness. Let's go into this real quick. So according to one body in Yahweh Shai, and there's so much madness that they're teaching, I actually had to write it down. So much. Yahweh Shai didn't do any miracles. That's a lie. No chariots coming to save us. That's faithless, and that's a lie. You need divine intervention. No spiritual power. How are you going to be delivered out of Babylon the Great then, if there's no chariots coming to save us? No spiritual power. According to them, no divine intervention. And the Lord didn't do any miracles. And, also they say that miracles, according to them, that's witchcraft. If you believe in miracles, or if you believe in divine intervention, according to them, that's a lie. According to them, Moses, the Lord, better yet, through Moses, never split the Red Sea. That's a lie. According to them, now they're also teaching Esau ain't the devil. Let's not put words in their mouth. Let's let the clip play. Let me put the camera around. And I'll try to get y'all's precepts. Let me turn this around so y'all can see. And I'll go from my phone real quick. So, you won't think I'm putting words in these guys' mouth.
I keep explaining to y'all, quit getting indoctrinated. Get yourself unindoctrinated, man. Just the title of the class is going to offend. It's going to offend a lot of Israelites because they truly believe what they pushing on these streets is true. Teach. It's sad that the true rebirth is just beginning. It's just beginning, and it's hard for our people. If we were still teaching the white man was the devil, we have people waiting outside.
They said what?
Because a lot.
Hold up. Where's Khalifa voice? Let's play that again. And I wish I could play this on my actual screen so you could see it, but somehow whenever I try to play clips on StreamYard from YouTube, they block the sound. So that's why I'm showing it on my phone. But let's play this one more again, so you don't think I'm putting words in these guys' mouths. So according to them, the white man, the so-called white man, isn't the devil to them. They also teach that Herod and the Herodians were Israelites. Alexander the Greek, Alexander the Freak was an Israelite. Lot, look back. Jeremiah 10:1-5 is not talking about Christmas. We need to unite the nation. It's not about the elect. Israel needs to carnally take down Esau by basically taking over the states. They said that as well. We need to go door to door like the Jehovah Witnesses. They're also pushing that. I mean, there's video of them going and knocking on people's doors. Also, them going into people's communities with a loudspeaker. The Lord didn't tell us to do any of that. He said, go out to the highways and the byways and bid them to the marriage. The elect, that is, those that have the ears to see and the eyes to hear. The ears to hear and the eyes to see. Slack, I said it backwards. But let's let this play one more time, so you don't think I'm putting words in these guys' mouth. And we'll go into the meat and potatoes of the lesson. I may play one more clip though, but let's let these guys, hang themselves one more time. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try to pull it up so y'all can hear it, and then let me know if y'all can't hear it. And if y'all can't hear it, I'll just play it on my phone again. But let's go. Let me share my screen real quick, and I'll grab y'all's precepts. Yeah, Khan. See, I'll lighten it up. Yeah, but the water for the precepts, and the water to anybody that's tuning in, commenting and not commenting. May Yahweh Bashim Yashai place the blessing of election on your household. And we only do these lessons to, warn the flock and those who may be thinking these guys actually have the truth, These guys, better yet, have a whole bunch of followers and people following them, thinking that they got the truth. So let me know if y'all can't hear this when it plays. And if not, I'll just play it from my phone again.
I keep explaining to y'all, quit getting doctor.
So were you able to hear the clip when it started rolling from YouTube? Give me a thumbs up or a con or a call to wab or a la'ah or a no. You know, la'ah is no in Hebrew, or call to wab is all good. Thumbs up, you know, if you can hear it, thumbs down if you can't hear it. I'll play it one time and I'll play it again. Let me know if you can hear it.
Indoctrinated, get yourself unindoctrinated, man. You know, just the title of the class is going to offend. It's going to offend a lot of Israelites because they truly believe what they pushing on these streets is truth. It's sad that the true rebirth is just beginning. It's just beginning, and it's hard for our people. If we were still teaching the white man was the devil, we have people waiting outside because a lot of people gravitate to hatred.
I had a precept on deck for that. This is Proverbs 17 and 15, and it reads, "He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai." And for a group that teaches, there was so much madness that they're teaching, I had to write it all down. Alexander the Greek, the freak, is an Israelite. Herod and the Herodians and the Herodian dynasty were Israelites. You know, I mean, that just makes sense that they would, you know, start teaching that Esau can make it, you know, or trying to justify Esau. Now, if you were to pull up Herod real quick, I've done this before, but since I got y'all live, let's go pull it up. Herod, I want to say Antipater. Herod Antipas. There's one of them that looks exactly like, oh yeah, this nigga right here. Boom. So let's pull this dude up. Now, who does this dude look like? Herod Antipas. Anybody watch Game of Thrones? Can't make this up, man. I mean, split image. Looks just like this dude. You know? Boom. Herod Antipas, right? That's what he looks like. And then you have a dude on the Game of Thrones who, you know, who looks just like him. You know, an Edomite, man. He was the Edomite, Slacky. I mean, man, you can't make this up. This is Proverbs 15 and 8, and it reads, "The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, but the prayer of the upright is his delight." You know, and the scriptures also say salvation is far from the wicked. I actually had that on deck. This is Psalms 119 and 155. "I have remembered thy name, O Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, and I've kept thy law." That's a good precept as well, but I was looking for 126. And I got a list of precepts on deck, and then whatever comes out through the Spirit, and then whatever brothers, you know, get on the comment board to add. I got all night tonight. So, you know, it may be long-winded, but Lord's will is edifying. This is Psalms 129 and 126. It's 155, Slaki. 129 and 155. I had 55 on deck. "Salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not thy statutes," because it wasn't given it to them, man. You know? Let's get Psalms real quick. Psalms 78, which I actually had for going into Moses and the Red Sea. But let's get this real quick. Psalm 78 and 5, and it reads, "For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel." Wasn't given to the heathen, you know. Second Ezra, the third chapter, 32. The second Ezra, the third chapter, 32 through 36, also backs up that point. You know, Psalms 140, Psalms 147, you know, 19 and 20. "For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers," that's possessive right there, "that they should make them known to their children." Let's grab, since I'm in Psalms, let's get the next one. Psalms 147. So there you have it. Strike one. They're teaching that, you know, basically Esau, the so-called white man, ain't the devil, you know, when the scriptures point that this man is the wicked, the tabernacles of Edom. The Lord hates him, you know. You know, Sirach 27 and 24, I've hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord shall hate him. You know, and we hate him too with perfect hatred. But we're not going to take matters into our own hands. The scriptures say, wait ye upon me. But he is our sworn enemy. He's the top of the list. He's at the top of the hit list in Psalms 83. It mentions the tabernacles of Edom first. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. You know. Now let's go into this real quick. Let me see if I get all this. Let me see if I got all this. So far we got on the list. They didn't do any. The Lord didn't do any miracles. We're going to go into that. No chariots coming to save us. They've said that before on record. You know, no chariots in the Bible. That's not biblical. That's according to them. That's witchcraft. If you believe in divine intervention, Moses never split the Red Sea. Esau ain't the devil. You heard him on wax saying that. Jeremiah 10:1-5 is not talking about Christmas. The elder Karatazak covered that, and I actually dropped the link in the actual comments in the description box. Herod and the Herodians were Israelites. They've said that. It's been on wax, and elders have gone into lessons on that. Alexander the Greek, the freak, was an Israelite according to them, and that's a lie, because Alexander's father was Philip the Macedonian, and the Macedonians go back to Haman, who was a Macedonian, and Haman goes back to Agag, king of the Amalekites. And Amalek was the grandson of Esau, son of his firstborn son, Eliphaz. You can track that lineage all the way back to Esau. Alexander the Great, the Greek, the freak, the Mo, the pederast, was not an Israelite. He was a Macedonian, son of Philip the Macedonian. According to them, Lot looked back. Since I got the sound on StreamYard, let's prove that. Let's go to the 18-minute mark of the elders video, and let's let them stick themselves. But let's get this first, since that's loading up, and I'll grab some of y'all brothers' precepts. This is Acts 20 and 27, and it reads, "For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the good, the bad, the ugly, rebuke, correction, our past and our future, and going into prophecy, telling you, thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, telling you Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed. The so-called white man's the devil. He's hated. He's our top enemy, beginning with the elite bankers, warning you of the times to come, the MOT to the B. If you were to go to their page, you won't see any videos on the MOT to the B. No matter if you teach, if it's, you should be teaching that it's the correct breakdown. But if you're teaching something else, you should be at least warning about it or condemning the technology that they're putting out in front of your faces. But if you go to One Body Dallas, that page, there's literally no videos that go into the MOT to the B. Let's just pull it up. Let's not let's see. Let's just go. Let's just go to their body of work. While that's pulling up, finish the rest of this though. Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock, over which, Slakia, Acts 20 and 28. Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock, over the which the Holy Spirit had made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he had purchased with his blood. And that's our duty. We have a duty to feed the church, Acts 20 and 29. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. And that's what these guys are. Matthew, the 7th chapter and the 15th verse. And it reads, but beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. This is a prime example of ravening wolves, man. Now, if you go to this page right here, let's see if we see any videos on the MOT to the B, on Revelation, the 13th chapter. Let's see if we see that in any of the titles. Okay, Jeremiah 10 is not talking about Christmas. That's a lie. Strike number 1 or strike number 10. Let's see if we see any titles to say Revelation, the 13th chapter, Revelation 18, Revelation 17, going into prophecy, Daniel 2, Daniel 7. It's all about the law, the law, the law, the law, the law. These are those wicked scribes and Pharisees, that were coming against Yahushua, constantly trying to trip him up in his words. That's why another red flag is they use Christ. They don't call upon the real name. Literally, we can just go back and you won't see no videos going into prophecy, man. These guys want to stay in Babylon the Great. That's what they want to do. Actually, I was going to play a video saying, with them saying some madness, but let's get this real quick. Now, I know I'm a little all over the place, but hey, Lord's will you get edified. That's the main point. But I want to cover points as they come up. This is Jeremiah 28:8. And it reads, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. I'll wait till it pulls up. Jeremiah 28:8, and it reads, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms. I mean, we didn't even see Babylon the Great in any of their titles, going into the destruction of this wicked queendom, The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And ultimately, the reason why you don't see any videos going into end time prophecy, the destruction of Babylon the Great, is because these guys are hirelings. They're not real watchmen, Because prophets prophesy. And the prophets, they're against Babylon the Great. They're against this place. These niggas want to stay here. And I'm going to call them that because that's exactly who they're acting like, niggas. Amos 9:8. But you have elect among them, and that's why we do these videos, so they can get pulled out of the fire. Otto and Rathasai. This is Amos 9:8. Behold, the eyes of Adawan Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai power. I'm going to read it again from the top. Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Shai Elohim are upon the sinful kingdom, Babylon the Great, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. And that's literally our constant sentiment, in our videos, telling you that Babylon the Great is American. It's going to be destroyed, and to repent. So you don't, be a part or partake in the destruction. You're a partaker in the Lord's salvation, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai, because he's going to preserve and reserve a remnant. Those who believe on the report, those who believe on the word from the prophets. Let's go play this other clip, though, because they spew out some more madness, and I want to get all the meat off the bone. Let me see. It's at the 18-minute mark of this video right here. I was just watching this before I loaded up, and that's what took a little longer because I want to make sure I was coming in at the right time with this clip. I'll go back to 1745. It gets right around the 1730 mark or so. 1738.
They're false teachers, man.
Okay.
All right. So if this isn't talking about that same custom, but it ain't talking about Christmas.
And anybody who's new, this is like a must-have on their subscription list. Literally, I listen to this elder's almost every video he drops. It's always edifying. He's always, going into prophecy. It makes really good videos, and this is really a must-have on their subscription list, as well as the apostles, Elder Yashawamba, GMS Birmingham, GMS South Carolina, GMS Orlando, the LA brothers, Chicago, so on and so forth,
What is it talking about? He's making that particular scripture about what he's talking about, and it has no relevance. It has nothing to do with what he's talking about. All right.
And just to pick up where he was talking about, this guy starts out on a tangent, literally like the first minute or so. I'll just play it real quick since I got all night. It's only like 50 seconds.
Now listen to this mock parody.
And this is the video that I just showed y'all where he's saying Jeremiah 10 isn't talking about Christmas. And for those who are entry level, that's basic Israelite 101. You know, you can read that. Even people in the Christian church know that's talking about Christmas, man. But once again, these guys are hirelings. They do more of teaching against the scriptures than teaching the scriptures, adding and subtracting from the word. Let's get that on deck as well. Let's go to Revelation. It's in the law, but you know, let's get both of them. Deuteronomy 4. That on deck and get Revelation 22. Let this play it up.
Israelite group, or this government agent sent group.
People are vain. It say the customs of the peoples are vain. What customs? What customs are vain? What customs that people follow? Right now, you see the customs of the Israelites. What they're following, the one where they hardly, and it's not one where, that's a street name, man. They gave a street name a camp name.
And if it wasn't for One West, you wouldn't even know you were an Israelite. You wouldn't know the name Yahweh Shai. But I digress. Let's let this clown, joker, comic book character keep on talking.
It was some IUPK or something. And what happened in that school? It was nothing but wickedness amongst those brothers. Nobody want to speak about it. And who came out of that school? The same brothers that's in these camps right now. IUIC, GOCC, Sabak, all of them. GMS, they come from right up under that wicked ass guard, that doctrine that's killing our peoples today, man. Right? Nobody's holding these guys accountable because they're the ones keeping us divided. Right?
So that's what he's talking about. Let's let it go to the 18-minute mark. And while that's loading, let's get Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. If it takes too long, I can get out the scriptures. I got the scriptures right here. Loaded. Yep. This is Deuteronomy 4:1, and it reads, "Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live and go and possess the land which the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai, power of your fathers, giveth you." This is the point. "You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahweh your power, which I commanded you." Now, let's let this guy stick himself, and he's going to add to the word. He's going to say a damnable heresy. I'll just let him say it himself, you know.
It ain't talking about Christmas. What is it talking about?
It's about the 18-minute mark or so. I'll let the elder speak from.
It ain't talking about Christmas.
Right at the point where we left off. So right here. Go back a little bit. Play from right here.
So they're false teachers, man. All right. So if this isn't talking about that same custom, but it ain't talking about Christmas, what is it talking about? He's making that particular scripture about what he's talking about, and it has no relevance. It has nothing to do with what he's talking about. All right. So real quick, let me play this.
But see, what did the messengers tell her not to do about this world? But his wife looked back from behind him. Did you know Lot looked back too? But see, Lot.
Did you hear that? Let's go back to Romans 16, which I didn't think I finished. Yep. This is Romans 16 and 17. "Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them." And that's why we do these videos, you know. And that word mark in the Greek, which is different than the mark that's in Ezekiel 9:4. That word in Mark Ezekiel 9:4 is the wa, which means exemption from judgment, you know, symbolic of you having the name of the Father and the Son in your head, as far as the doctrine, the mentality that leads to eternal salvation. you getting the victory, the new song in your head. This word, Mark, is scorpeo, which means to put a scope on these guys. You know, I actually had that. This is Zephaniah 1:12, and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and that's what the Lord is doing. You know, through the angels. You know, and the angels are putting the spirit on men to shed the light on these guys, to put that scorpeo on them. You know, to mark these guys with their false doctrines. You know, in any damnable heresy, you know, is getting addressed in these last days. You know, and these guys are starting to put their foot in their mouth more and more, because it talks about in the last days there shall come scoffers. One of the definitions of scoffers, if you go into that word in the Greek, is a false teacher. You know, we may get that next. I don't write this out. This is Zephaniah 1:12, and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, their mind. The Hebrew word for heart is la'ab, which is your mind. The Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. And we just check their body of work. No going into end time prophecy or the destruction of this place or give a warning of the times that are to come. It's just about the law, the law, the law, the law, the law. And the law won't save you. You can't law, statute, commandment, or bring it out, that's right, your way into the kingdom. And that's all you hear when you watch these guys' videos. 115 bring it out every 45 seconds. And no edification, no warning, no prophesying. That word for mark is scorpeo, which means to look at, observe. Observe, inside joke. To look at, observe, contemplate, to mark, to fix one's eyes upon. Direct one's attention to anyone, to look at, to take heed to thyself. Matter of fact, let's get that. 1 Timothy, I think it's 4:16. My favorites I used to read when I first came in. Yep. This is 1 Timothy 4:16. And it reads, take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee. I'm going to read it again. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this, thou shalt save both thyself and them that hear thee. I had Titus on deck. Let's get that as well. This is Titus 1:9. And it reads, holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. And that's what these guys are, filthy dreamers and gainsayers. You know, despisers of dominion, despisers of government. Let's let him stick himself one more time. So now, you know, we've established on wax that they believe that Esau, Edom ain't the devil. The white man ain't the devil. They said they don't teach it anymore. Lot looked back. So that's a lie. Lie number 2, you know, as well as a whole bunch of lies. For anybody who's just tuning in, the gospel according to one body in Yahushua, which is so much madness, I actually had to write it all down. So according to them, Yahushua didn't do any miracles, no chariots coming to save you. You know, spiritual power, that's demonic, that's witchcraft, no spiritual power. You know, Moses never split the Red Sea. They've said that. Esau ain't the devil. Basically, they said that as well. You know, the white man ain't the devil. That's Esau, you know. Jeremiah 10:1-5 is not talking about Christmas. They have a video right there on the screen that's saying that. You know, Herod and the Heronians were Israelites. That's a lie. Alexander the Greek was an Israelite. That's a lie. Lot looked back. I mean, let's let him say it one more time. And, you know, I actually had a different lesson plan, but I was like, man, you know, the spirit hopped on me to put this together because this is just too much, you know, like Elder Yashawamba posting the 2 Through an Information channel when he goes and he plays certain clips. And this is too much that they're doing. They're doing the most. But it says in the last days that guys will be doing this, you know. This is these guys are a part of prophecy.
They ain't talking about Christmas.
We still got to get on them and mark them.
What is it talking about? He's making it he's making that particular scripture about what he's talking about, and it has no relevance. It has nothing to do with what he's talking about. All right. So, real quick, let me play this.
But see, back, what did the messengers tell her not to do about this world? But his wife looked back, real from behind him. Did you know Lot looked back too? But see, Lot's spirit was righteous, hers was not.
So he just threw that in there.
So there you go. Let's go to Revelation 22. Let's get that pulled up. Let me get a few of y'all brothers' precepts. Hey, Shalom. Let's go back here. Yeah, actually, that's actually a good precept. I'm gonna get all this meat, all the meat off the bone that y'all's dropping off the comment board, and the water for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shai place the blessing of election on each and every sincere person's household that's watching. This is Jeremiah 23:1, and it reads, "Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai." And woe means destruction, and that's exactly what's coming for these guys. If you were to go into Jeremiah the 23rd chapter around the that's talking about these guys as well. I get out the scriptures because my phone, not my phone. I'm so used to doing lessons on my phone. My computer, when I have like more than 10 tabs up, it'll run slow. Let's go to Jeremiah the 23rd chapter. I'll get this out of the sword. And that's what these guys are. The prophets of Baal coming back. This is Jeremiah 23:13, and it reads, "I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesy in Baal and cause my people Israel to err. I have also seen in the prophets of Jerusalem an horrible thing." What? They commit adultery, spiritual adultery, fornication. Who are they calling on in the videos? Cesare Borgia, and walk in lies. I mean, literally lie after lie after lie after lie. Yahweh Shai didn't do any miracles, no chariots coming, no spiritual power. Lot look back. I mean, they're just making it up as they go along, man. It says that evil men shall wax worse. Let's get that as well. So I got the sword out. This is 2 Peter 3:13, and it reads, yep, Slakia. Might be Timothy. Hold up. Yeah, I think it's Timothy. That's tripping. It's Timothy. I think it's Timothy. Yep, this is 2 Timothy. Yep, 3:13, and it reads, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." And that's exactly what they're doing, waxing worse. But continue in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. And if you keep on reading, it gets a little more interesting. But for time's sake, we'll just go to the next points. Actually, you know what? Jeremiah 23, I'm tripping. Slakia. This is Jeremiah 23:14. Continuing. "I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem an horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah." Let's keep on reading. What's going to happen? "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood," nuclear destruction, "and will make them to drink of the water of Gaal. For from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land." And profane is outside the temple. And that's what these guys are. They're outside the spiritual temple, man. Pretending like they're inside the temple. Pretending, once again, the title of the lesson, "But there were false prophets." This is 2 Peter 2:1. "But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Let's get this in the blue letter real quick. 2 Peter 2. Get that term, damnable heresies. One word. Yep, this is Revelation 22 and 18. Let me see. This is Revelation 22 and 18, and it reads, "For I testify unto you, every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things," that's what they're doing. They're adding and subtracting from the word, double rebellion. "The Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book." Revelation 22 and 19. "And if any man shall take away from the words of this book," it's like, if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, ain't no chariots, ain't no spiritual power. The Lord didn't do any miracles. "The Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city from the things which are written in this book." This is 2 Peter 2. Let's see that term, damnable heresies. It might. Let's just get a. Wow. So that term, damnable, that term is Strong's G3919. I'll go back to the comment board and I'll get the accounts as far as Moses splitting the Red Sea, the Yahweh Shai's miracles, and I'll probably wrap on up like the next 20 or so. I don't wrap this up. The main points I hit as far as, the videos that I wanted to show, better yet. And it goes into
Strong's G3919. Paraisago.
And that goes into, is that damnable? Suck it. My computer's tripping. Let's get this though. This is Titus 1 and 9, and it reads, "Holding fast the faithful word that he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers." Let's go into this word gainsayer while that's loading. And that word gainsayers, antiego.
Strong's G483. Antilego.
Yep.
Antilego.
And it goes into to speak against, gainsay, to contradict, to oppose oneself to one, decline to obey him. And that's what they're doing. They're declining to obey Yahweh Shai, declare oneself against him. He didn't do any miracles, calling on Christ. This ain't that, that ain't this, refuse to have anything to do with him. Speak against, deny, contradict, gainsay, gainsayer. Let's go into gainsayer real quick as far as the definition. Slack it. Come on. Is that loaded up yet? Let's look this up real quick. Let's do a simple Google definition of gainsay. Let's get a little more deep to the word. And it goes, gainsay, deny or contradict, speak against or oppose. Let's see if I get any more. Yep. To declare to be untrue or invalid. Wow. Contradict, oppose. Did not dare to gainsay the king. Woo! Wow. And that's what they're doing. They're gainsaying, the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's get that real quick. Matter of fact, I'll pull up of the Hebrew. Let's see what it says. Ecclesiastes 8:4. Let's go into that word power. Ecclesiastes 8:4. And it reads, where the word of a king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, what doest thou? And we have the word of the Heavenly Father, you know. The word king is malak, which is messenger. I was looking to go into power, salakia. So I think there's some good definitions in that word power. I looked this up before. Yep. Yep, and it's Shalatawan. Yep, Shalatawan. It goes into mastery. If you go into the Shalata, Shalat, power, dominion. You know, exercise power over, dominate, have mastery, lord over, become master, to give power, to give power of, to get mastery of, you know. Now, what the Lord will do, 13 and 34 real quick. He gave his, I'll just put the scriptures explaining. That word is shalat in the Hebrew. And it goes into power, rule, you know, power, dominion, you know, because if we're of that number, you know, we're the first fruits, we're the first spirits created, and we're joint heirs and joint rulers with Yahushua, you know, to give power of, to get mastery of, you know, what are these guys ultimately doing? You know, they're enemies of the throne. That's who they are. You know, they're the enemies of the throne of Yahushua. No, Mark. Like that. Okay. Okay, check that down. Let's pull it up. Okay. Boom. Go back here. I ain't even got to the main point of the lesson yet, man. I'm tripping. It's all good though. Lord's will, you get edified. This is but I want to bang these points home as they come out. This is Mark 13 and 34, and he reads, for the Son of Man is a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority. We're just going into that as far as, I'll read the precept one more time and I'll go into bloat the blue letter definitions. Ecclesiastes 8:4, where the word of a king is, there is power. And who did Yahushua give his word to? His men, you know. And who may say unto him, what doest thou? And that word for power in the Old Testament is Shalatawan. Yep, Shalatawan. And it goes into mastery. But if you go into the etymology of it, it's shalat. And it goes into exercise power, dominate, have mastery, rule, give power, dominion. And that's what he told the apostles, and you shall receive power, you know, Acts 1 and 8. But this is the point. It's that same word, I believe, that's in the Acts 1 and 8, because there's 3 definitions for power in the New Testament. You have kratos, you have exousia, and you have exousia, kratos, and there's another one. Man, let me see if this is the one right here. Exousia, let me get, because Luke 10 and 19 has both of them. But since I'm on the point, I want to get both definitions. Yeah, exousia, and the other one is dynamis. So you got three definitions for power in the New Testament: exousia, dynamis, and kratos. And the Old Testament, it's shalat. It's we just pulled it up. It's like it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, shalat tawan. Yeah. Let me see. And another definition for power is, Allah, as far as, another word for power, better yet, but like this word right here is shalatawan. Let's pull this up though. Back to the point, Mark 13:34, and it reads, "For the Son of Man is a man taking a far journey, who left his house, who gave authority." That word for authority is exousia, "to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch." And that's what we're doing. We're watching. But the Lord, gave his servants authority, to do the work, and it goes into, authority over mankind, the power of judicial decisions, of authority to manage domestic affairs, a ruler or human magistrate, the leading and more powerful among created beings, superior to man, spiritual potence. Because ultimately, if we're the first fruits, we're the gods in the form of the aristocrats of the world to come. That's why we think different. That's why we have a different mentality than these other groups. These filthy dreamers. I'll get that a little later. Let's finish this though, and I'll go to the comment board, and I'll go into the next point, which is Moses splitting the Red Sea, because that's one of their arguing points, as well as a whole bunch of arguing points. All false doctrine. I'll just go to the chapter and get it from here. This is Acts 20:27. Yep, down to 30. I'll get a 31. And it reads, "For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the Most High." We've not shunned to declare all the counsel of the Most High. The scriptures say, "Diminish not a word," cry aloud and spare not. Jeremiah 26:2, diminish not a word. Isaiah 58:1, cry aloud and spare not. This is Acts 20:28. "Take heed therefore unto yourselves and unto all the flock, over which the Holy Spirit had made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he had purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock." Let me see if I got a precept on the comment board pulled up. Take that down so brothers can see a little better. Sisters, whoever's tuning in. And it reads, "For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock." And that's what these guys are. For anybody who's new or just tuning in, just catching up with what these guys are spewing out, which I had to write down. And I've said it a few times, but you get new people coming in. The gospel according to one body. So the red flags is they use the C word. They do more teaching against the scriptures than teaching of the scriptures, not going into end time prophecy, the destruction of Babylon the Great, America being destroyed, end time prophecy as far as warning about the times that are coming, the MOT to the B, pushing the law. We actually went to their page and you just see any videos that go into end time prophecy. No Daniel, no Daniel 7, Daniel 2, no Revelation 18, 17, Revelation 13, none of it, man. Second Ezra 15 and 16, none of it. Taking away from the word and adding to the word. According to one body in Yahweh Shai, there's so much madness, I actually had to write it all down. Yahweh Shai didn't do any miracles. They've said that. No chariots coming to save us. Spiritual power, that's witchcraft and idolatry, and that's wicked according to them. They've said that. They've said Moses never split the Red Sea, and there's videos that was done on that. I actually did a video on that. I know Amawanabad did one, and I think the apostles did one as well, and other elders, other brothers as well. Their new report is Esau ain't the devil. For anybody who's new, just tuning in, I have it on my phone. I played it a little earlier, but let's play it one more time. So just so you don't think I'm putting words in these guys' mouth, let's let the speaker stick himself.
I keep explaining to y'all, quit getting indoctrinated. Get yourself unindoctrinated, man. Just the title of the class is going to offend. It's going to offend a lot of Israelites because they truly believe what they pushing on these streets is truth. Teach. It's sad that the true rebirth is just beginning. It's just beginning, and it's hard for our people. If we were still teaching the white man was the devil, we have people waiting outside because a lot of people gravitate to hatred. I keep explaining to y'all, quit getting indoctrinated.
Play it again.
Get yourself unindoctrinated, man. Just the title of the class is going to offend. It's going to offend a lot of Israelites because they truly believe what they pushing on these streets is truth. Teach. It's sad that the true rebirth is just beginning. It's just beginning, and it's hard for our people. If we were still teaching the white man was the devil, we have people.
And that's, right along with what they teach in the form of, they teach the Herodians and Herod were Israelites. They also teach that Alexander the Greek, the freak, was an Israelite. So the fact that they teach that, it just makes sense that they would start teaching that as well. Next you'll see a video, pop up next week saying, Esau can make it, They just keep on adding more bullshit as time goes along. They also said Lot looked back. I played that clip a little earlier. They always pushing, we need to save the nation. It's all about the elect. You won't see one video on their channel that talks about the elect. Let's just pull it up real quick. While that's pulling up, this thing is all about the elect, and GMS and the like-minded camps under GMS. Disclaimer: I'm not Great Millstone, but I teach, the doctrine, the same doctrine of the apostles. I learned under the apostles. The GMS camps and their affiliates, like myself, Watchman on the Coast and the brothers who are part of my camp, are the only ones that go into this thing only being for the elect. Everybody else is trying to save the nation or unite the nation. Yahweh Shai didn't come and do that. He only came and taught those who were followers, those who he knew would believe the report. He knew who his followers were, better yet, those who were his sheep. Let me see. Yeah. Let's go real quick. Let this get pulled up. Yep. Well, that's getting pulled up. Let's finish this. It reads, "For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them." And that's exactly what these guys are doing, speaking perverse things. "Therefore watch and remember that by the space of 3 years I have not ceased to warn you every one night and day with tears." I'm going to read it again. "Therefore watch," and that's what we're doing. Watching and giving warning and marking, rebuking, exhorting with all long suffering and doctrine, and preaching and teaching and prophesying. At the same time, when we're doing that, we're building up the tabernacle of David, building up each other's faith and speaking comfortably unto Jerusalem. You know, all the above through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. This is Acts 20 and 31. Therefore, watch and remember that by the space of 3 years, I cease not to warn every one night and day with tears. You know, let's go into Ezekiel real quick. That reminds me of Ezekiel 9 and 4. While that's playing, while that's pulling up, for anybody who's just tuning in, Jeremiah 10 and 1 is not talking about Christmas, according to one body in Yahushua, as well as all the other madness. You know, the law, the law, the law. Let's see if you see elect at all on this page. You know, let's see if you, could I do a search? See if elect. Okay. 5 years ago. Wow. Wow. Can't make this up, man. You know? So last time they titled a video talking about the elect was 5 years ago. You know? Before that, a year ago. So now they're not really talking or preaching the true message of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. Because if they were, they would be constantly talking about the elect. You know? Ezekiel 9 and 4. And it reads, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And them justifying the wicked, that's an abomination. Proverbs 17 and 15 again. He that justifieth the wicked and condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. Now let's go into this next set of precepts because I want to get this. Matthew 7 and 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves. And we just read that in Acts the 20th chapter. Let's keep on going. Let's go down to 20. Let's go down to 20. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? And I mean, you could just see plain as day that these guys aren't men of the Lord, man. You know, but ultimately somebody has to be the false prophets in this thing, you know, and they're starting to manifest themselves and pop out their ugly heads more and more as we get closer to the end. It's in Matthew 7 and 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. You know, saying that Lot looked back, you know, Yahushua didn't do any miracles, you know. I mean, do these guys even believe in the scriptures, man? You know, through Matthew 7 and 18, and it reads, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. I mean, these guys fit this to the T. Matthew 7 and 19, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. And ultimately, that's going to be the fate of these guys, you know, as far as the leadership and so on and so forth. You know, you're going to have some men among them repent, and that's why we do these videos. Matthew 7 and 20, wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. And these guys have, you know, rotten fruit, man. Now, let's go into Exodus 13 real quick. You know, let's start here. Exodus 13 and 20, 21. And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai went forth. It's like, and the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, a chariot, you know, Psalms 104 and 3, you know, he come up with clouds, Revelation 1 and 7. It's talking about a chariot. That's what the clouds are, you know, to lead them by the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light to go by day and night. And to take it one step further, Yahushua was in the bush, you know, he was that pillar of fire in the bush, you know, that talked to Moses, you know, Let's just get that in the form of a precept that backs it up. This is Deuteronomy 4:24. And it reads, For the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, thy power is a consuming fire, even a jealous power. This is Exodus 13:21. And the Lord Yahweh Shemashai went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, a chariot, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. This is building up to what we have next. Let's see. Let's get that next. Let's go to Exodus 14 real quick. Actually, I had this right here. Let's get that next. This is Exodus 14. I think it's about 20, 21. Yep. I'll get 20 as well. And it came. Yep. This is Exodus 14:19. Yep. I'll get 18. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And this is talking about the time where the Lord eventually delivered the children of Israel by splitting the Red Sea north of the Gulf of Suez, you know. And the angel of Yahweh Shemashai, the angel of the Lord, went before the camp of Israel. It's talking about Yahweh Shai. He's the angel of the Lord. And the angel of Yahweh Shemashai went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud, the chariot, went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp and the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud of darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord Yahweh Shemashai caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Now, if you go into this word divided in the Hebrew, that word is bakwa, and it goes into to split, cleave, break open, divide, break through, rip up, break up, to cleave, cleave open. Let's go into this word cleave real quick. To cleave, split, or sever. That's exactly what happened, you know. It's lucky. Let's see if I get something else. Yep. And another word for divide is palag. You know, palag. For anybody who's new, you know, another word for divide is palag. And it goes into cleave open, to split open. We just went into cleave, split, or sever, you know. To be broken into, to be ripped open, be torn open, to be rent, to break into, to break through. Cleave asunder, to divide. That's exactly what happened, you know. But there's other precepts that back that up. We'll go to Psalms 78 and then Psalms 136. And then we'll go into some of the miracles, some of the other miracles that happened. There's miracles throughout the whole scriptures, man. You know, the dry bones, you know, that's a miracle, man. You know, that we were able to come back out of that dead estate. You know, it's a part of the story, but I mean, man, you know, compared to how through our nation was, man, and the state of Jake is, you know, that's a miracle, man, you know. Yep. This is Exodus 14:22. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, because the waters were split, they were divided, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Let's go to Psalms 78. Yep. Let me see. Yep. This is Psalm 78:10. They kept not the covenant of the Most High and refused to walk in his law, and forgot his works and his wonders that he had showed them. That's why he brought the curses upon us for disobedience. Marvelous things marvelous things. This is Psalm 78:12. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. That's the point. He divided the sea. We just went into that word, and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as in heap. Let's go to Psalms 136. There's more. Psalms 136:10, and it reads, to him, let's see. Yep, this is Psalms 136:9. The moon and the stars to rule by night, and his mercy endure forever. And that's what we're hoping to get, the tender mercies of David, the sure mercies, which these guys who are teaching false doctrine, if they don't repent, they're not going to get those mercies, man. This is Psalms 136:10. To him that smote Egypt in their firstborn, for his mercy endure forever. And to the children of Israel, starting with the elect. Psalms 136:11, because even the 2/3 of our people who get purged out, who are teaching false doctrine, they're going to be brought back, and brought out Israel from among them, for his mercy endure forever. Points in the 13th verse. Salakia. It's a little late out here. It's about 2:00 in the morning. But let's get it. With a strong hand and with a stretched out arm, for his mercy endure forever. And I got to get Psalms 98. I think it's 98. Yeah, Psalms 98. This Bible, man, it's like it is a jigsaw puzzle, man, And when you see certain precepts, you're like, oh man, that's dope. I can go with that. I can go with this, This is Psalms 98:1. Oh, sing unto the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai a new song, for he had done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm had gotten him the victory. And that's what we're singing, the new song. Not subtracting or adding from the word, rightly dividing the word of truth, going into the definitions of things, making it plain upon tables, and marking guys who are out there adding all this. I mean, literally, there's so much madness these guys are spewing. I had to write it all down, bro. I had to write it all down. I mean, it's just that much, In the words of Elder Yashawamba, the 2 Through an Information channel, and the quotes, the little quotation that he does, this is too much, man. This is too much. Look, they had to write all of it down, man. But once again, that's prophecy. That guys would be doing all that, Literally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 things that they're adding and subtracting from the word. That's just off the top that I could think of, Let's go back to Psalms 136. And I'll get y'all brothers' precepts, I know brothers probably been lighting it up. Slakia. I didn't mean to ignore the comment board. But the water for tuning in, the water for the precepts, man, y'all lighting it up. I may not be able to get to all of it. Man. Yeah, that's the brother Gabar, man. I'm going to make you a moderator, brother. That's the brother from LA. Let me give you the wrench, bro. Hold up. Give you the wrench, bro. Let me give you a wrench real quick. Hold up. Give you the wrench. Just add you, bro, as a moderator. The brother Gabar out there in LA. Hey, Shalom Aki, Yahbashim Yashar Barakatah. This is Exodus, Psalms 136. And it reads, was they stretched out hand and with a stretched out arm, for his mercy endure forever. This is the point we're here in the 13th verse. To him which divided the Red Sea into parts. It's playing upon tables, man. for his mercy endure forever. Psalms 136 and 13, to him which divided the Red Sea into parts, for his mercy endure forever. So, for anybody who's, under the impression that the Red Sea wasn't split by Yahweh Shem Yahshua through Moses, there it is. Now let's go to Acts, the 3rd chapter. Let's go into some more miracles. This is going to go into miracles as far as the next part of the lesson. Now, Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, and they laid daily whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that enter into the temple, who, seeing Peter and John go about into the temple, ask an alms. And Peter, fastened his eyes upon him with John, said, look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them, like as far as, money, Let's keep on reading. Then Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, I give. It's like it, but such as I have, give I thee. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, rise up and walk. And this man, was a leper. He was a person that was handicapped, man. I'm gonna read it again from the top. A certain man lame from his mother's womb. That means he was handicapped. He couldn't walk. He was basically through. This is Acts 3 and 6, and it reads, then Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, rise up and walk. And he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and his ankle bones received strength. It's a miracle right there. And he leaping up stood and walked and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising Yahweh Shem Yahshua. And the people saw him walking and praising Yahweh Shem Yahshua. This is the point right here. And they knew that it was he which sat for alms at the beautiful gate of the temple. And they were filled with wonder and amazement at that which had appointed unto him. And as the lame man which was healed held Peter and John, all the people ran together unto them in the porch, which is called Solomon's, greatly wondering. And that same type of spiritual power is going to be bestowed on the Heavenly Father's men all over again. Going into Matthew 10 and 1 real quick, which I didn't get. And this is a point I brought out earlier, as far as, a point we hit a little earlier, as far as, the Heavenly Father giving power to his men, Matthew 10 and 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Once again, these guys, they're getting, confounded over and over when it comes to the scriptures. Now, that guy is a hell of a speaker. I give him that. But when it comes to the scriptures, they're completely going off. But, motivational speaker, I put him up there with Eric Thomas, man. He's fooling and deceiving the simple, just like he's supposed to do, And we're defending the gospel, just like we're supposed to do. Everybody's in their lot. I get that. Yeah, I got that. Okay, I'll take that down. Take some of these down. I'm going to hit a few more of these points as far as miracles, and I'm going to probably wrap on up. This is Matthew, the 9th chapter. And let's get 18 down to 31 real quick. Yep. So this is Matthew 9 and 18. And this is going into, the healing of the woman in the crowd, with the issue of blood, Janias' daughter, and he heals 2 blind men. This is Matthew 9. This is 9. This is Matthew 9:18. And it reads, while he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler and worshipped him, saying, my daughter is even now dead, but come and lay thy hand upon her, and she shall live. And Yahushua arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And behold, a woman, the woman out of the crowd, which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years, came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may touch his garment, I shall be whole. And that's, ultimately, the faith that we're going to have in these times, that faith of that woman was great, And it reads, but Yahushua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith had made thee whole, and the woman was made whole from her hour. And there's a spiritual overtone, to that account right there, Ultimately, that goes into, us having that same type of faith as far as the hopeful elect, because Israel's compared to a comely woman, You notice how that word daughter has a capital D. And when Yahushua came into the ruler's house and saw the minstrels, it's like in my reading. I'm gonna pull this a little closer. And when Yahushua came into the ruler's house and saw the minstrels and the people making a noise, he said unto them, give place, for thy maid is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, he went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose. And the fame hereof went abroad into all the land, because eventually through these miracles and, the several other miracles that Yahushua did, over 35, 36, 37 miracles, they're just documented. The scriptures also say he did so many miracles. If they were documented, it wouldn't be enough room, to count them all, roughly paraphrasing. Yahushua is the man. Who are you to say that the Heavenly Father's Son didn't do miracles, man? Through. Once again, we got to mark these guys, That's a part of the job, This is continuing. Matthew 9:25. But when the people were put forth, he went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose. And the fame hereof went abroad into all the land. And when Yahushua departed thence, 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, thou son of David, have mercy on us. And when he was come into the house, the blind man came to him, and Yahushua said unto them, believe ye that I am able to do this? It's like it. They said unto him, yea, Lord. And he touched their eyes, saying, according to your faith, be it unto you. And their eyes were opened. And Yahushua straightly charged them, saying, see that no man know it. He said, hey, don't be telling nobody. But what happened? They went and told people anyway, man. Let's go into what else do I have on deck right here? This is John. Yeah, actually, this is good right here. It's a good one right here. Yeah. Let's get this as well. Actually, I can skip this one. No, it's all good. Take this one down. It's all good. This is John 11. And let's skip from 45 on down. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees. And ultimately, these guys who are, saying all this madness as far as one body in Yahushua and guys like them, IUIC, so on and so forth. They're these wicked scribes and Pharisees who are coming against the Lord, constantly coming back. Let's get a precept off the comment board. Brother's been lighting it up. Dang. Go back here because y'all been lighting it up. Man. Dang, there's so much I can't get all of it, man. Dang. Hey, but the water for dropping the precepts. I'll read some of them when I wrap up. I'll probably get to wrapping up in a second though. After I get these next few precepts. This is let's go back to John. So, the Lord did many miracles, man. We just read Matthew 9:18 down to 31, and there was 3 miracles that was done, right there, and just in that chapter right there. Moses split in the Red Sea, Of course, us waking up out of a dead state, the valley of the dry bones, receiving the word, in a form, that's a miracle, man. Us coming out of a dead state, us knowing who we are, after the many atrocities that happened to our people, man, This is John 11. And I'll get from 45 on down again. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary had seen the things which Yahushua did, believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. And that's balance right there. You got those who will believe and those who won't believe, Actually, I read this in yesterday's lesson. Hebrews 4:2, real quick. This is Hebrews 4:2, and it reads, "For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them." They heard the same word that we did, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith, which is a gift from the Heavenly Father, Ephesians 2:8, in them that heard it. I'm going to read it again. For unto us was the gospel preached, unto the hopeful elect, as well as unto them, those who are outside this, wise counsel, those who are outside the house, those who are outside this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Like I've said, the past few lessons, there's billions of people with this book. Billions. There's hundreds of thousands of Israelites that have an Apocrypha. How many actually have the understanding? There are 144,000 prophets and servants of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, and those who are meant to receive and believe on the report. Back to John 11:45 again. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary had seen the things which Yahushua did, believed on him, but some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, "What do we? For this man doeth many miracles." Wow. I mean, that's a cold cut. Let me read it again. John 11:47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, "What do we? For this man doeth many miracles." What book are these guys reading, man? If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. And that's ultimately these guys coming back, Same guys who were constantly putting pressure on Yahushua, who eventually gave him up to the Romans and, brought forth false witnesses, so on and so forth, real quick. And ultimately, these guys are just enemies of the throne, despisers of dominion, filthy dreamers, false prophets, all that and the above. Let's get Luke 19:27 real quick. This is Luke 19:27, and it reads, "But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. And ultimately that's going to happen. But what's happening right now? They're getting a spiritual slaying, by the servants and prophets of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and correction, because you have elect who are among these guys. Once again, there's elect amongst all the camps, even the guys out there who are spewing false doctrine. You have elect among them who are going to be pulled out of the fire, and that's why we do these lessons. So the elect among them, can be warned and ultimately pulled out of the fire. Let me see. This is Acts. I'll get right to the point. 5. Yep. This is right after, the certain man named Ananias and Sapphira, his wife, Peter basically said one rough word to both of them, and both of them gave up the ghost, continuing from that point. You can read about that on your own, Acts 5, 1 through 10. I'll get from the 11th verse. And great fear fell upon all the church. And that was spiritual power. That was spiritual power right there. Because Peter didn't lift up a finger. He just said one rough word. And both of them gave up the ghost. Actually, I get the 10th. I'll get the 10th and 11th. I'll get the 10th verse. Yep. Man. Yep. I'll get 8. This is him talking to the wife. And Peter said unto her, tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. And she said, yea, for so much. They're withholding the money, from the church, being jackers, being scammers, Then Peter said unto her, how is it ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then she fell down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. I get this. So that's what happened. One rough word. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 9. This is ultimately talking about Esau, but you have ungodly among our people. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 9. Now it's like it not that thou wast unable to bring the ungodly under the hand of the righteous in battle, and this is a spiritual battle, or to destroy them at once with cruel beasts, or with one rough word. And that's what Peter said, to Ananias and Sapphira, the husband and wife who were being ungodly, lying, scamming, schemers, jack artists, thinking they were conning, thinking they were running game, thinking they were pulling a fast one. This is Acts 5 and 11. And great fear came upon all the church, and upon as many as heard these things. I'm going to read down to 15. And by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people, also miracles. And they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch. And that was spiritual power right there, But according to them, there ain't no spiritual power coming. The Lord said, you shall receive power, man. The things that I've done, you shall do greater. Roughly paraphrasing. What book are these guys reading, man? Of course, these are those false prophets and filthy dreamers in the flesh, Acts 5 and 13. And the rest durst no man join himself to them, but the people magnified them, because you had a lot of believers come in, and believers were the more added to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai, multitudes both of men and women. Is the point at 15. Insomuch that they brought forth the sick into the streets and laid them on beds and couches, that at the least the shadow of Peter passing by might overshadow some of them and heal them, man, and that same type of power is coming back, man, This is the point actually in 16. Keep on reading. I love the book of Acts, man. And this is ultimately what we're living in as far as Acts 2.0, being played out. We're living in Acts 2.0. This is Acts 5 and 16. And it reads, there came also a multitude out of the cities round about unto Jerusalem, bringing sick folks and them which were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed every one. Let's go back to Matthew 10 and 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples and gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. What book are these guys reading, man? This is Titus, the first chapter. Let's get 9 down. I'll just get it from here. This is, it's already went in the blue letter for Gainsayer. This is Titus, the first chapter. Let's get 9 down to about, I think about 13. This is Titus 1 and 9. And it reads, holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine, both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. And if you go into that word gainsayers, those who are speaking against, coming up against, so on and so forth. I'll go to the simple Google definition for it. Gainsayer. Gainsayer, one who contradicts or denies what is alleged, an opposer, a person who gainsays a disagreeable person. And that's exactly what these guys are, See if we can get any more meat off the bone. One who contradicts or denies what is alleged. Yep. That's what these guys are. But ultimately, they're a part of prophecy, They're a part of the movie, just on the left-hand side. Somebody got to be on the left-hand side, and somebody got to be calling these guys out, This is Titus 1 and 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, those who know they're Israelites. This is Titus 1 and 11. And it reads, whose mouths must be stopped. That's exactly what's going to happen, All their mouths will get stopped eventually. Titus 1 and 11. Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. It's all about the money, all about the Benjamins with these guys. And that's why they, these other groups outside of this group, they'll have women at the camp. They'll water the doctrine down for women, in these other groups, like Sakari, I'll just say a name or two. They'll have live streams and they'll be having guys on purpose donate super chats over and over and over who are part of their camp, and they turn the live stream into a giving contest, to see who can give the most super chats, merchandising the truth. It's all about selling merchandise, fringe t-shirts and whatnot, which aren't biblical. The garments are supposed to go down to the floor, and they're not to be worn as far as, as fashion statements, they're to be worn when you're doing the work, pretty much, if you want to wear a fringe t-shirt, you're not going off at the same moment. If you want to wear a fringe t-shirt, that's on you, put it like that, but fringe t-shirts, the t-shirt was invented in the late 1800s, it's a Western garb. It's an undergarment. You didn't have prophets of old wearing fringe t-shirts. Now, if you want to wear a shirt with a border of blue on it, it's on you. Wouldn't be. We don't do it and push that over here as far as under the banner of Great Millstone. And like-minded camps who teach the same doctrine. It's just not wise. You're in captivity. Also with the coming persecution, you're just making yourself a target. I had a fringe t-shirt on one time over here in my neighborhood. Somebody tried to run me over. It was the last time I wore a fringe t-shirt in this neighborhood where I live at. And I live around Edomites. Ultimately, that was the Lord showing me that it wasn't wise. And you've had other brothers who've gotten fired, at their jobs, because a lot of those groups, they push that on you so they can make merchandise of you, man. You know, they just view you as a jug. That's street talk for a lick. There's even guys who call dudes in their camp, the pocket. That shows you the mentality of these guys, man. Somebody calls you the pocket. They just want your cheese. They just view you as a lick, Once again, those guys are teaching for filthy lucre's sake. And you have also these guys saying that basically Esau, Edom, the white man ain't the devil. That they're saying it, Let's play it one more time. It's only a 45-second clip. I've been going long enough, As far as it's a long-winded lesson anyway. Let's let it keep on being longer. For anybody who's just new tuning in, I played this clip a few times, but this is just like, wow, this is where you're taking it. But once again, these guys are a part of prophecy. These guys are a part of the movie, Somebody's got to be out there spewing false doctrine. Somebody's got to be marking them. Actually, you know what? Slakia. Did I get that? Okay, Kanka. Slakia. Let's let this play on the screen so y'all can see this. So anybody who's, just tuning in, or you just may have caught the last part of this, you won't think I'm just, talking down these guys, whatever. I'm just making stuff up, or what do they say? Bearing false witness. Let's let this guy say it himself,
I keep explaining to y'all, quit getting indoctrinated. Get yourself unindoctrinated, man. Just the title of the class is going to offend. It's going to offend a lot of Israelites because they truly believe what they pushing on these streets is truth. Teach. It's sad that the true rebirth is just beginning. Right. It's just beginning, and it's hard for our people. If we were still teaching the white man was the devil, we have people waiting outside. Because a lot of people gravitate to hatred. I keep explaining to y'all.
I'll let it play one more time.
Quit getting indoctrinated. Get yourself unindoctrinated, man. Just the title of the class is going to offend. It's going to offend a lot of Israelites because they truly believe what they pushing on these streets is truth. Teach. It's sad that the true rebirth is just beginning. Right. It's just beginning, and it's hard for our people. If we were still teaching the white man was the devil, we have people waiting outside.
This is Proverbs 17 and 15. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. The sacrifice, this is Proverbs 15 and 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. And there's no saving Esau, There's no, sugarcoating that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is the wicked. And he's hated by the Lord. Malachi, the 1st chapter, Romans, the 9th chapter, lets us know. It also, that's crazy, though, because now I think about it, that's covered in the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha. Malachi, the 1st chapter, Malachi, the 1st chapter, verses 3 through 4 says, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Jacob have I loved, and then if you keep on reading down to the 4th chapter, the 4th verse, like the 4th verse of Malachi, the 1st chapter says, I hated Esau, and laid his heritage waste for the dragons, so on and so forth. Romans 9 and 13, for Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated, and Sirach 27 and 24, I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord will hate him. Also in the Psalms, I hate them with perfect hatred. Over and over in the scriptures, the Lord lets you know, that he hates, and there's a certain group of people who are at the top, of the hit list. That's why they're mentioned first in Psalms 83. Also, Jeremiah, the 25th chapter, it drops the whole hit list that Yahweh Shem Shai has as far as all the heathen nations. You know, Proverbs 15:9, the way of the wicked is an abomination to Yahweh Shem Shai, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Talking about the remnant, the hopeful elect. I'm gonna get this last precept and close on out. I'll get a few brothers precepts off the comment board. We'll close on out. It's been going quite some time. Dang, almost 2 hours. Yeah, but the Wadi al Shai, for the spirits to do this lesson, Lord, will you find a lesson edifying? You know, that's the main point. This is 2 Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord Yahweh Shai that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Let's go into this word heresy real quick. I was trying to get that a little earlier. Yep. Wow. Yep. A body of men following their own tents, sector party of the Sadducees, of the Pharisees. You know, let me see. Let's get damnable. The word damnable is Strong's G 684. Destruction, waste, damnable. Wow. To die. Wow. That's exactly what's going to happen to the guys who are teaching this, who don't repent. Perish. You know, destroying, utter destruction of vessels, perishing, ruin, destruction. And they're teaching for the love of money, you know. Wow. Yep. This is 2 Peter 2:2. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. Let's get pernicious real quick. Having a harmful effect, especially a gradual or subtle way. And it's crazy though, because, you know, they said in the opening clip, you know, that, you know, we're killing people allegedly, right? That's what this guy said, you know. Yes. I'll let it play, you know. So anybody won't think I'm putting words in this guy's mouth, you know. So I know, Jake, sometimes they don't have the patience to sit through 2 hours of teaching. You know, they may come in at the last 10 minutes of a lesson, so on and so forth. Or you may just be catching this lesson now. Or you may watch it in segments, so on and so forth. Let's let this guy say it himself. Allegedly, we're killing people, right? That's what this guy says. That's lucky. I'm trying to pull up where this guy was talking on the Elder Karataz's lesson from Vegas. Might have to pull down some of these windows. This is right here. I'll play the first 2 minutes and we'll get a last precept, and then whatever brothers have in the comment board, you know, as far as a few precepts with the comment board, we'll close on down. But I'll let this play because, you know, this guy says it himself. You know, I'm not putting words in this guy's in these guys' mouth. This is all stuff that they've said. You know, while that's loading, according to One Body in Yahweh Shai.
Now listen to this.
Their gospel is it's a long list of stuff that they've said. So long I had to write it down. Number 1, Yahweh Shai didn't do any miracles. Number 2, no chariots coming to save us. Number 3, no spiritual power. You know, that's idolatry and witchcraft, according to them. Number 4, Moses never split the Red Sea. That's a lie. Number 5, the so-called white man, Esau, ain't the devil. Number 6, Jeremiah 10, 1 through 5 is not talking about Christmas. There's a video right there on your screen with the title saying that. That's one of their last lessons. You can check it out on your own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on 6. 7. Herod and the Herodians were Israelites. Number 8. Alexander the Greek was an Israelite. Both lies. Number 9. Lot looked back. I played the video of that. Number 10. We need to unite the nation. You know, they don't really talk about the elect. Number 11. They say that Israel basically needs to take Esau down carnally in the form of we need to. Actually, I was going to play that video as well. So I'm playing videos. Let's play it all. This is another video that they're out there spewing madness on. Number 12. We need to go door to door, like the Jehovah Witnesses. Basically, that they're doing that on camera. Plenty of videos of them doing that. And then number 1. There's so much, man. These guys are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So much you gotta write it down and number it. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The chip ain't the MOT to the B, you know. No videos on Revelation 13 if you to go through their whole channel, you know. And usually, you know, when brothers do a lesson on the chip, they'll be, you know, and he causeth or MOT to the B, Revelation 13, 16, somewhere in the title. You'll have some lesson saying that at least. No warning. No warning. You know, even guys who teach the spiritual MOT to the B, which is off, they'll at least do videos on it, you know. Once in every, you know, blue moon, you'll see a WFI video going into it. Even though it's off, they'll still talk about it, you know. These guys, not a peep. And you know why? We know why. They're set up, man. They're agents, man. I just pulled the clip from right here. Go back a little bit. Let's play this first, though.
And I still commit this great evil against our souls. Oh, listen, man. And I still.
Let's let this play first.
Mock parody Israelite group, or this government agent sent group.
And also, while that point's coming up, these guys also go out to where GMS Dallas teaches, and they teach on the same foundation on the days they're not out there. I believe they're out there on Saturday or something like that. They'll go to the same place and they'll set up on another man's foundation. Clearly going against the scriptures, you know, Romans 15 and 20, you know. I'll just get it real quick out of the sword. Romans 15 and 20. Ultimately, these guys don't believe in the Bible, you know. They're set up, you know, they're agents, you know, I believe through the Spirit. And other brothers, you know, have said the same thing. Because that's agent activity, you know. This is Romans 15 and 20. And it reads, yea, so I have strived to preach the gospel, not where Hamashiach was named, lest I should build upon another man's foundation. Let's get this in the NLT. I'll look it up on the phone because my computer sometimes it runs slow. Let's write Romans 15 and 20. See what the NIV says. Yep. This is the New Living Translation, Romans 15. Yep. And 20. And it reads, my ambition, I'll just get it. Okay. It's only one precept. 15. And E, so you can see it. This is Romans 15 and 20. And it reads, my ambition has always been to preach the good news where the name of Yahushua has never been heard, rather than where a church has already been started by someone else. That's a clear cut to what these guys are doing. There's been videos and, footage of them out there, teaching, where GMS Dallas sets up. That's off, Once again, these guys don't believe in the scriptures, man. They believe in serving their own belly.
It say the customs of the peoples
Slovakia. Yeah.
are vain. What customs? What customs are vain? What customs that people follow? Right now, you see the customs of the Israelites. What they're following, the one where they highly, and it's not one west. That's a street name, man. They gave a street name a camp name. It was some ISUPK or something. And what happened in this school? It was nothing but wickedness amongst those brothers. Nobody want to speak about it. And who came out of that school? The same brothers that's in these camps right now. IUIC, GOCC, Sabak, all of them. GMS, they come from right up under that wicked ass that doctrine that's killing all peoples today, man. Right.
So allegedly we're killing people by telling them the truth, Let's go to Isaiah 9 and 16. Last one, I promise. As far as new scriptures. Yep. This is Isaiah 9 and 16, and it reads, for the leaders of this people have caused them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. And eventually all these guys who are, filthy dreamers, despisers of dominion, they're going to be destroyed. They don't repent. Let me see this video real quick. Let me play this real quick. It's only 3 minutes.
They still committing this great evil against our souls. Why are they doing it out there? What?
I'll just get right to the point. The last few seconds, he says,
Debaters? How did we have to get debates alone? Why did we have to get the airplane?
he says the point in the last 5 seconds of it. So I'm gonna let it play from right now to the end, and then we'll get 2 Peter 2:2, and then whatever brothers have in the comment board as far as different precepts, and we'll close on down.
What you call them? The airplane companies alone. Why are the car companies alone? Right. What are they doing now? They folding, man. Right. But see, we not considering what we should be doing. We should be coming back and building. Luke 20:13. We should be coming back and preparing ourselves for the kingdom. How do you prepare yourself when you divide? When they got us separated in the mind. We could be setting things in to where we taking control. One state at a time.
So you hear that, one state at a time, right? So their mentality is, basically taking over America, and staying in Babylon the Great and setting up a kingdom in America, man. America's going to be destroyed. I mean, you heard him say it, taking over the states one state at a time. This thing isn't for all Israel. This is only for the elect. This is 2 Peter 2:1 again. But there were false prophets also among the people, as there shall be false teachers among you, who shall privately bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. That's exactly what's going to happen. And many shall follow the pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And that's what they were doing. They're just speaking evil of the truth. It wouldn't, if it wasn't for One West and the camps that came out of One West, you wouldn't know to call upon Yahushua. And you guys don't even call upon Yahushua. You guys are constantly talking about Christ, which is the Greek name, a false title. When you speak that name, people subconsciously, they don't think about the real depiction of the Lord. They think about Cesare Borgia, man. And that's the vibration you're covering, the covering that you're putting upon, the Israelites who follow you. As well as, these 13, checkpoints right here that I have written on this list of all the false doctrine you guys are teaching. as well as other points that may not be on this list. That was just stuff that came off the top of the dome. But let's see. I'll give one or two or three y'all's precepts, and I'll close on that. Yep. This is Jeremiah 14:14 from the brother Gabar Kalab, and it reads, "Then the Lord said unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them." Because the Lord sent true watchmen, true prophets, to give you warning, and also to not water down the doctrine. The scriptures say, trim not thy ways to seek love. Yeah. And Jake bugged out, man. Yeah, Jake bugged out, man. But I kept y'all long enough. I'll get one more precept. I'll close on down. Yeah, this is actually perfect to close on out with. This is from the brother out there in the UK, Shakam Banyamya. This is Psalms 139:21, and it reads, "Do not I hate them, O Yahweh Shemashai, that hate thee? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee?" Because all those that have fought against Jerusalem, you're going to have a horrible judgment. Go to Zechariah 14:12. It talks about it. Your eyes are going to melt in their sockets, and your tongue is going to melt in your mouth, man. You're going to catch a horrible judgment. Those ICBM missiles, man. "I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies." Yep. And ultimately, what these guys are is enemies of the throne. So I'll close on out. Lords, will you were edified. And in closing, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak Wadash. Double honors unto the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well. Shalom unto the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the men, women, and children listening and learning from the servants and prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, and a hearty shalom to the sincere brethren laboring across the four winds of the earth, giving diligence to make their calling and election sure. Shalom, shalom. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the men of valor in the DTA camps, the first camps I ever heard the truth from. Isaiah 62, verses 6 through 7. "Ye that make mention of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yashai, keep not silence, and give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in the earth." So once again, Lords, we are edified. Salaki, if it was a little on the long-winded side, but sometimes that happens with my lessons. But Lords, we get edified, and you were edified. That's what it's all about. And once again, watch out for these guys who have 15 checkpoints of false doctrine. Literally, so much false doctrine, you got to write it all down. And until next time, next lesson, Shalom, DTA, Wa, Ababa. So, Shalom.